Welcome back to my channel. My name is Shamika and this is Check the Rhymes. I am super hype about today's show because I have a legend joining me, y'all. It is Mr. OOO himself, Lenny Williams. Yay! Y'all, we are going to talk about his new single. It's actually off the album he released last year. And we're going to talk about, of course, Because I Love You. And he's going to answer your fan submitted questions. So you do not want to miss today's show. Mr. Lenny Williams, welcome to Check the Rhymes. How are you?
I am good. I'm up and at 'em and ready to go. Yes.
Well, I'm so glad you could come to the show today. So we got to kick this off by asking how you have been faring during this pandemic.
I've been doing pretty good. Thank the good Lord. I got both my vaccinations and I'm always gone generally. So just kind of rearranging life a little bit with my wife, being in the house, together 24 hours a day. I have to say that she's quite the boss around here. So she's always finding things for me to do. Like, I'm like, hey, I'm an R&B singer. I don't be doing that kind of stuff. She said, oh, no, right now you're going to do what I tell you to do. So, so it's been interesting. But the family, everybody's doing good and everything like that. Nobody's contracted the virus, and we're thankful for that. And, and financially, we've been able to, to survive. A lot of people, I haven't worked in over a year.
Yeah.
And, So, thank God for my mama teaching me to make a dollar, save a dollar,
Amen.
Yes.
Actually,
right. Yes.
The last show that I went to was when you came to Charlotte with the blue. I can't remember exactly the name of the concert, but it was like a blues and soul festival. And,
yes. Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I think March 7th was my last show. Right.
Wow.
And so, so I thank God for my mom and dad, who were, business people. And, they, taught me the value of a dollar. So we haven't missed a meal, the light's still on and everything like that. So, praise the Lord. Yeah. That's
good. That's good. You didn't have any side effects from the vaccine?
Well, I did have a little side effect, with sore arm, of course.
Yeah.
And then I was just kind of tired. That was the main thing, that I was just tired for about a week.
Mm-hmm.
But after that, it was all, I was ready to go, green light, ready to jump around, do my little thing. And so no complaints. All my friends that I've talked to, all their results have been kind of similar, their experiences, and nobody with anything that's drastic or anything like that, just some aches and pains, a little fever or something like that. But I didn't have any fever or anything. It just kind of tired, lethargic a little bit. Yeah.
But your wife said, okay, I'll let you sit around for a week. Now get back to doing this stuff.
Yeah, she gave me 5 days. It's 5 days in. Come on, now I got this for you to do and that for you to do and everything like that. But actually, I found out I've got some skills that I didn't know I had. Hanging in the house and fixing this and fixing that. So it's like next time I don't have to call anybody. I can do it myself. Right?
There you go, saving $1.
Exactly, most definitely. Yeah.
You have a new single out called Southern Girl.
Yeah.
Tell me about it. I saw a video. There's also a dance to it.
Yes, right. I was hanging out with Levi Caesar, who was the guitar player that played with Prince in the New Power Generation band for 12 years. And actually, I knew his family, but I didn't really know him. I've seen him, when he was growing up. But, he went off, hanging out with Prince and, all that stuff. And so then I finally hooked up with him. And he was just telling me about how I do, 80% of all my gigs are in the South.
Yeah.
And he was just asking me, what is it I like about the South? I said, well, I was born in the South. I was born in Arkansas. And I said, I love the people.
Mm-hmm.
I love the food. I love the churches. And I really, really, really like them Southern girls. I said, and he said, you really, really like them? I said, I really, really, we can add another really, 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 really like them, right? He said, well, let's write a song about it. What is it that you like, And, just talking about all the different things, the HBCUs and just the strength that Black women in the South have. And then so then we started getting people saying, well, I wasn't born in Mississippi, so where does that put me? And I'm like, well, I said, if if your great grandmama or your grandma was born in the South, you're a Southern girl because you got that. It's really an attitude,
Yeah.
or it's a way of thinking. It's not necessarily geographically where you were born. And I said, you ever seen a hot comb? You know what I mean? You know, all of that, you know, it's all Southern, you know. And so, and then all of us have that connection because that's where we all, you know, as we came to this country,
right.
You know, a few hundred years ago, you know, as we all came through the South. And so, you know, so everybody's all a Southern girl. Yes, right. Yeah.
So did you envision like a dance routine to go with this? I don't know if it's called a dance routine, but like a dance that would go with the song? Because when I saw it, I was like, now I got to learn a new dance.
No, actually, that's what I thought too. I said, now I got to learn this dance. But some ladies down in Slidell, Louisiana, right outside of New Orleans, they got together and, you know, they liked the record, and then they did a little dance routine and put it up. And next thing you know, got 65,000 views and people sharing it. And so, you know, there's a little dance out there. So, and that's exciting, you know, think that, you know, it came from conversation to a song and then, you know, to a dance. Yeah.
And I believe the last time we spoke, because I originally interviewed you for soultrain.com. And I think that was around the time, it might have been like 2012, somewhere along in there. Mm-hmm. So fast forward to when you're releasing the album Fine. What was that? There was like a bit of a hiatus in there. What was that about?
Just, you know, working and writing songs and just waiting for, you know, the time to put some new music together. Mm-hmm. And, you know, so it's kind of hard, you know, when you're always on the road to kind of stop and then go in the studio and you know, really, sometimes it's hard to do it simultaneously because you got all the strain and the traveling on your voice with the shows and the traveling and everything. And then, you know, to come back and say, well, I got a week here or a few days off, I'll go in the studio, you know, maybe, you know, your performance may not be at, you know, peak excellence. And so, you know, so then I just found the right time to do it. And so voila. Yeah, here we are. Yes. Okay,
so I wanted to ask you about a couple of the songs off that album, and one of them, I believe, you performed it at. If I'm thinking of the right song, I think you performed it at the concert I saw you at, and I remember thinking, did he just say?
that was that somebody else? What song
I wasn't sure which song it was, but I was like, that's not Lenny Williams singing this song. You know what song I'm talking about? It was very, I don't want to call it, it wasn't vulgar. It was just very, I wasn't expecting it from you.
Yes, right. I think it might have been somebody else.
Okay.
Yeah, somebody else is holding my hand. Somebody else is calling me their man. Right. Yeah, right. Actually, that's not on that album, I don't think. That's on a previous album, right? Yeah. But that's a song that I wrote that, and I was just trying to think of something that, because I was reading an article the other day, it's something like, it's this huge number with the advent of the internet and everything like that, and people having their own studios, that there's something like 60,000 new songs that get uploaded every day onto Spotify. Mm-hmm. I mean, so that, you know, there's so much traffic. I mean, how do you break through, right?
Right.
And I was talking to one of my daughters, and I was like, wow, I'm trying to write some songs. I'm just trying to figure out, you know, she said, well, Dad, you got to write something a little scandalous, you know, and, you know, kind of step out the box a little bit. And so being in the South a lot, you know, and working with people like Sir Charles Jones and Johnny Tatum before he passed away, Tyrone Davis, people like that. And then even some of the younger guys, Tucker. I realized that the lyrical content is not as free as, say, rap, where you could just say anything, but it's very suggestive.
Right.
And very suggestive, and sexual songs that deal with sex or deal with marriage and breaking up or cheating or things like that, things that happen in the real world. I mean, it happens all the way from just, the ordinary truck driver to the king and queen of England, you know what I mean? And the royal family, you know, it happens, you know, where you have, people, you know, stepping out and doing whatever. And so I thought I'd write about it. And, the song was called Somebody Else. And, you know, like you're not doing the person right, so somebody else is holding my hand, somebody else is calling me their man, and then I started doing all the natural things, and then I was like, somebody else is fixing my plate.
Yeah.
Somebody else is getting
That's what that line right there.
Right. And so sometimes, most of the at first when I started singing, I would say the P word, and then a couple of guys said, well, they were getting some feedback, and so then I said, okay, well, I'll use the C word, like coochie, right? And so I did that, and then it's just some nights when I'm looking at the audience, I can kind of feel which word would be accepted.
Right. I can't remember which one you used that night, but I just remember sitting there like, did he?
Yeah, that's what my wife was. She was with some of our friends from San Diego, and they're pretty up-to-do people, and they're sitting there listening to me sing "So Very Hard to Go" and all these different songs, and then I said, "Did he just?" My wife's like, "Girl, that's my husband. What can I say?"
Right.
But I don't know, I debated about it a lot, when I wrote it, but then I just said, okay, but it does get a reaction. And then when I'm after the shows, when I'm out selling the CDs, the little old ladies come to me, I want that song. I said, what song? You know what song I want. Yeah. And then I get them. Tell me, what did I say? What was it? Right? Yeah, trying to get little Mother Jones from the church to tell me what did I say, Mother? She go on, give me that $15. Come on, baby, here you go. Let me sign it. Go home and listen to it now.
Oh my goodness. Well, which brings me to the other song that kind of had me like, did he just all night on this album?
Yes. Yeah. I did. My friend DOA, Derek Allen, he just produced the latest album on Kim, and matter of fact, he just produced Kim's latest album. He did Keith Sweat's latest album, and he did Joe's latest album. So we're good friends, and we do a lot of songwriting together. So he called me and he said, I got this song, and he says, I think it was Tank that had that song. Can we? Was that Tank?
When we, yes. Yeah,
when we, right. He said, I want to write something like that. And he says, but I want it, maybe not as explicit, but, kind of close, kind of more grown folk,
right.
A style. And so he sent me the music. And so I'm sitting around, and it took me literally about 3 weeks. I was like, because the music is really good, and it seemed like it would be so simple to come up with something, but I couldn't come up with it. And then I was lying in bed one night, and then all of a sudden it just came to me. I just grabbed a bill, the utility bill or something. I can't think right on the nightstand, and I just started writing it. And then I called D and I asked him, I said, what do you think? He said, oh man, I love it. And so we did that, and then he said, well, I think on the course I'd like to get a female, right? And so then I called up. I can't think of her name right now. And she sang with Sylvester, sang with the Weather Girls, and I called her up, and Tracy, Jeannie Tracy, right? I called her up and asked her which she sang on it, and then she a little church girl too, right? So then
you turning these church girls out.
I didn't tell her what it was about, right? So we get to the studio, bam, put it on. And she said, okay. And so we did that, and everybody seemed to like it. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a great song. It just, I think I just wasn't ready. I wasn't sure. But then as I was going through the album, I was like, no, this isn't the song that I heard that night. It was definitely.
Yeah, right. Yeah. So that was recent. Yeah. This song here, right. Yeah. All Night. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I also love Blues and Barbecue. I like that song.
Oh, well, thank you. Yeah. I'd have to let my friend Charles Spikes, my guitar player, he was there that night that last time I saw you, and let him know, because he wrote that song. Yeah. And
okay.
Just somebody, just blues and barbecue, the simple things in life, and then he finally winds up with his friend winds up with the nice woman in a little southern town, a little tiny town, and they playing blues and they got barbecue and just living a good life. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So, do you ever feel, or do you feel like you have to conform to like the type of music that's out now? Like you said with the lyrics, or whether it's I don't know, some of the, I don't really listen to a lot of the newer R&B, like from newer artists, but I know that some of them do have very explicit lyrics. So do you
Mhm.
feel like you have to conform, or is it just something you're just kind of like, let's just see what works?
Well, I don't really feel like I have to. I mean, I don't ever want to be in a position in anything in life where I feel like I have to, other than I got to make it to heaven, right? So I got to, kind of
You
want
got to
that.
do what your wife says.
Yes, right, exactly right. But no, but I mean, there's a lot of pressure on artists, to because I mean, even no matter what you do, if you're, I ride down the freeway sometime and I see cars and I say, that looks like a Mercedes, and I get up on it, it's something else. It's a
Yeah.
Lexus. And I think that maybe because Mercedes might have a body style that is, everybody's gravitating to, then maybe Lexus and some of the other car companies try to,
Right.
copy off of that or whatever. Or, you see it in clothing. You got something that's out and everybody's buying it, then people start, all the other clothing lines start trying to make something similar to it. So I think that you some kind of way you need to, if you're in business, you need to, if you want to be successful in any kind of business, you're selling something, you need to make something that people
Yeah.
that people like, right? And so definitely we're in a world now that is more accepting and more open. I mean, I look at some of the commercials,
Right.
For things on TV. I'm 76, right? So I look at some of the commercials, say like they're selling bras or panties. When I was a kid, you never saw that.
Right.
You never. They used to talk about the. I can't think of the actress name, but so they talk about the wire wire bra or something. But you never saw her in it. You know what I mean?
Right.
She's on a sweater or something and it's comfortable and all this other kind of stuff, but you never saw that. So things are more open. So even things that you can say on television that you couldn't say. And so I think it gives artists more liberty, but I think that also with that comes a certain amount of responsibility.
Right.
And you don't want to get into a play. Like I talk to a lot of young rappers and then they'll say, I challenge them sometimes. Well, can you write a song that has no cuss words in it, or and then they be like, oh, well, this is what I do. I'm like, yeah, but no violence in it. But it's like, well, I grew up in the hood, and this is what I said. But what if Walt Disney called you and said, hey, I want you to write for a movie for kids from 3 years old to 7,
Right.
and I'll pay you $1 million. Are you gonna miss out on that million because you can't write a song that that doesn't have suggested lyrics or whatever? And so you have to be able to be open to be able to do almost anything.
Yeah.
So I say for myself, I don't feel pressured to do it or that I have to conform to it. But I grew up around some cussers now. You know what I mean? I had some that could, they was making up words, so
I was in the South.
But I think that it's, that I enjoy the liberty to be able to go as far as I want to go, and then test the water, and also be able to be ready to accept the backlash or the criticism that would come my way, and to be able to explain why I did what I did, and to be able to live, with what I did. Yeah, but definitely, I think that if you're in the business of selling things, whatever it is, music, utensils, whatever, you got to make something that people gonna like, or you're gonna have a garage or a warehouse full of stuff.
Exactly. I was watching or listened to an interview you did. It was probably actually almost a year ago, and you were talking about owning the rights to your music, the rights to your songs and publishing. Where, a lot of people are still, I feel like, still aren't on that. Where did you even learn about it to think this is what I need to do?
What's an interesting story? I was hanging out with Larry Graham, who was the leader of Graham Central Station. And at that time, he was with Sly and the Family Stone, but he was getting ready to leave. And so one night, Pete Moore from the Miracles and a whole contingent of people from Los Angeles came up to his house and spent the weekend because they were trying to sign him because they knew he was leaving Sly. And so, and then Larry was working, trying to promote me too, because just kind of like around Oakland, trying to make it. And he was trying to promote me as well. And so I was singing and stuff for the people. And then I got tired and I didn't want to go home. I lived about half a mile from Larry, but it was like going around mountains and hills and stuff. And so those are my weed smoking days. And so I didn't want to, drive home. So I went to an extra bedroom. I said it was a bedroom and I went and there was 2 beds in there. And when I went to sleep, I was the only person in that bedroom. So I woke up about 5 a.m. and then in the other bed was a girl, right? So I'm like, hey, what's up? And then we just started talking, right? And so we started talking and she said, you're quite a singer. And I said, well, thank you. And she says, do you write as well? And I was like, yeah. She said, well, do you have your own publishing? And I was like, no. I said, publishing, it sounded so big to me and enormous. Right. I'm like, isn't that like some big building, on the avenues of America in New York City? And she's like, oh, no, you can get your own publishing. You just go down to the courthouse and county courthouse and you file a fictitious business license. And she said, I'll show you how to do it. She wrote it all down. And she says, and here's my phone number. I'm going back to Los Angeles today. She said, but you can call me. I'll walk you through it. And so that's how I learned about publishing. And I tell people all the time, when you with a woman, look at her brain first. Because these women, they powerful. I mean, it's like, if you look at what's going on, the majority of small businesses in the United States are by women. Yeah. Law schools are filled with women. Medical schools are more women going to medical schools now. Mm-hmm. And I was like, so, I guess I had learned that from my mom, even though I like women, I love them. I love the way they look and, talk and everything like that. Right. Because my mother was a businesswoman, I always knew that, that there's 2 sides of women. There's the physical beauty and there's the intellectual, spiritual soul. Mm-hmm. And so I'm not gonna say I always, went to the intellectual, soulful part of, but that particular night I did. And, and it's because of that, I've made millions of dollars, and I've owned my own rights to my publishing and the songs that I've written. Yeah.
I love that. I love that. Well, I got to talk about the big song, Because I Love You. Yes, of course, I had a lot of people wanted me to ask you about it. And they wanted to know, well, one person, and this will kind of segue into the fan segment here, but one person wants to know, did you ever see the song becoming a classic? And you have an interesting story about how the song even came about. So if you want to start there and then tell us if you ever thought it would become the classic it is today.
Well, the way it came about, I had a friend of mine who was a carpenter, and he was working on my house. And he wasn't really a friend. He became a friend, right? But he was a carpenter, and I hired him to work on my house. And we became friends, and started talking about things other than the work that he was doing on the house. And he kept telling me about his son, who was the next coming of Michael Jackson, right? He'd sing, dance, write, play guitar, play piano, whatever. And so after him just repeatedly asking me to, meet his son, I finally, gave in and I said, okay, and his son came by and his son was everything he said. So we started writing together. We would write every day. And his son would say, I have to be inspired. Something has to happen, some kind of inspiration for me to write. And I was like, oh no, if you work for Motown, those guys go to work, like they punch a clock and they in the room and, Barry Gordy come through, checking out what you're doing. You take your lunch, you come back and you work, you punch out. And I said, you couldn't tell Barry Gordy I'm waiting for inspiration, and so he came by one morning to work right as usual for me. And then I didn't want to write because and he's like, why? I said, me and my girl got into it last night. And he's like, well, let's write about it. He said, would you tell Barry Gordy that? And I said, no. But you didn't feel like it because you and your girl had? I said, no. He said, so we wrote about it. But to answer the question, I had no idea, that that song would. I think because I'm a songwriter, I hope that all my songs would
Yeah.
be legendary and all my songs would be around 50, 60, 100 years. I mean, that's why you try to own the publishing and all that other kind of stuff, because you know that these songs, as they get older and new audiences, new people are born, and they hear the song that they, go out and purchase it or fall in love with it. And so, but I had no idea that it would be, I mean, I do these shows, these fairs, and, there's women my age and older, they know the words and their kids know the words and their grandkids and they little great grandkids know the words to the song and they sing it along. And it's like, I don't know, it's humbling, to think that did that in my little, little bedroom. And so I had no idea, but in a way, I guess you could say I did, because I wanted to make sure that I owned it, and that I didn't just record it and let, some big publishing company somewhere, control it and everything like that. Yeah. So I had hopes for it, but to be honest, I never imagined it would, that I'd be 76 years old and people be like, I can go sing anything, songs that, and they'd be, I'm waiting for that concert. I love you. What's that? Oh. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, did you, I remember vaguely, like, when we spoke years ago, you were saying that, I guess you used the song kind of as a way to get her back as well. Like, and I guess it worked.
Together, I think we've been together 40 something years. Yeah. 40. She always gets mad. I don't know the exact amount of time because we got a little discrepancy on. I had to get rid of that boyfriend of hers first, so you can't count that first year because I had to get rid of him. Right? Yeah.
That is too funny. Well, like, as I see in your background, you've got like Twist up there, and he sampled the song, and I can't see who the other ones are back there, but someone wanted to know your thoughts on like, or how well you're doing from people sampling your music, like, and what your thoughts are on that.
Yeah, I mean, I love it. A lot of times I hear people say about rappers and young musicians, that they, they're not creative because all they do is sample music. And I have friends of mine that go to Juilliard School of Music or Berklee School of Music, some of the, the finest music schools in the world, and they'll get out and they'll do their own rendition of Beethoven or Bach or Brahms. And, they say that music is classical. Well, when somebody goes and they get a Smokey Robinson song and they sample it, somebody who wasn't even born when Smokey first did the song, and maybe even their grandson will go out and do it. Well, that keeps the music classic. And then, and so I love it for that. And then if you have taken care of the business, not only does it keep the music classic, but it helps the originator, the songwriter, like myself or Smokey, that you get residuals. Right. And I remember when Kanye West and Twista sampled "Cause I Love You" with the song "Overnight Celebrity," and that was my first big sampling experience. And so, I get these royalty checks, and it'd be come in an envelope or something like that or whatever. And then my wife come in, you got something from. It's a royalty check, and it's like the size of an encyclopedia, right? So I said, "Don't open it." Of course she did. She
of course
checks is right. And so I get to the house, and there's like a check for $94,000 for writing the song, and $94,000 for being the publisher of the song. And I'm like, oh my God, So I did my little holy dance and shouted around the house and everything, thanking the good Lord. And the checks just kept on coming, and they're still coming, and it's just unbelievable. So I say sampling is good, I mean, it's basically, it's almost like somebody who, let's just say the Waltons who own the chicken, that's who it is in Arkansas. I think it is. It's the Waltons.
I think so. Yeah,
that's right. That so their daddy or granddaddy started it, and then the kids live off of it, and the grandkids. So I did something, and then some kids that I don't even know, Kanye West and Twista, or Trey Songz or Jay-Z or whomever, have sampled my music, then they get a chance to live off of it, and I still get a chance to get some of it. And when I'm gone, my kids will get some of it, and my grandkids. And so I think of it as an instant, writing and sampling, all of it goes together, and then it's it's like an institution that keeps on giving. So I'm definitely 100% in favor of it.
I'm switching careers now. Start writing some songs.
Right. Yes. Well, it's not as lucrative as it was back in the day, because with sampling now and all the music sharing files and stuff like that, it just kind of cuts it in half. And I always say that songwriters, we're kind of like the bastards of or the stepchildren of the copyright protection laws. I mean, if I went and took up auto mechanics or something like that, and and made me a car that looked just like the brand new Escalade, and call it the Lenny or whatever, and put it out there, General Motors be all over me. I'd be in jail, and they'd be taking my house and everything else. And so, but people can take your music and they can sell it, they can do all kinds of stuff, and you don't, and then they'll say, well, don't even ask you how much you want, we'll give you a penny for it.
Right.
And the copyright institutions don't protect us, or so it's not as. I'm not to say that it's not still lucrative, because it is. And I think something's coming down the pike, because every day I wake up, I'll get something on the internet, people trying to buy my publishing. And, that's the big thing now. Everybody's trying to buy all the songwriters publishing. So I think that they know something's coming down. There are going to be some new laws that's going to revert back to, us getting our fair share for our writing and our publishing. And so people are kind of poisoning themselves and putting themselves in position by buying up all of the publishing and writing that's out there right now.
Okay. Somebody else wanted to know your thoughts on have you seen the Tyler Perry play Medea's Big Happy Family? They wanted to know if you saw that and what you thought of them performing this, or the actor that performed your song.
Jeffrey Lewis, right? Yeah, I thought he did an excellent job. I remember I went. Tyler came to. They brought the play to Oakland, and then I got a phone call that they had some tickets for me, and they wanted me to come to the show, right? And so I came to the show, and I had no idea that was in the show, and so I said, oh, here we go, and then he did it, and I was like wondering what. I said, it sounds like the original key. So then my friend, Big Worm, was the musical director. So I went backstage afterwards, and I met Jeffrey, and then I hollered at Big Worm. I said, was that B flat? He's like, yeah, it's B flat. I said, oh shoot, killing it. And I actually did an interview with him not too long ago. Yeah, but he's an excellent singer, very nice young man, and I was like, man, you ought to do the record and put it out, and let me get some writers and publish it, right? Let's keep the lights on,
Right.
Yeah. So, but
awesome.
I thought he did an excellent job.
Yeah. Yeah. I liked it. I thought he did a great job.
As my daddy would say, I liked it.
Yep. Somebody else wanted to know if you think you'll ever record with Tower of Power again.
I don't know. I don't really know. I know they don't have a singer right now. I know that. And I if I were betting, I was in Vegas betting, I would bet that it probably is not going to happen. I mean, it's like that was I think the last time I recorded with them was in 1975. Well, they all came out in 75, so probably 74.
Right.
So that's almost 50 years. So I would bet that it's probably not going to happen. There's no real reason why it wouldn't happen. It's just that they're busy, I'm busy. We'd have to figure out, all the, the parameters, how we're going to pay,
right? All
of that, So I would bet that it's probably not going to happen. But you never know. You never know. We're not enemies or anything like that. It's like, my mom and daddy divorced, right? And then, we have something, me and my sister have a barbecue. My daddy, he wasn't married. My mama wasn't remarried. And they come over and we sit around, they be sitting, talking. We said, Mama, Daddy, take a picture. And they sit down. And I said, get closer, they get close. But it's like, we always wanted them to go back together, But, it's like, well, we like it like it is,
Yeah.
So who knows, I'm not adverse to it,
Okay.
but I'm not, it doesn't cross my mind to do it either. Yeah, right, yeah.
Okay, all right. Well, for my last question, and I ask everybody this, what affirmations do you tell yourself every day, especially during this pandemic? It's like sometimes we have to motivate ourselves. What do you tell yourself every day?
Well, I tell myself that I'm a child of God, and that God is my father. And then when I think about it, I heard a friend of mine, he was praying, he's like, Daddy. I said, did he just say Daddy? Calling God Daddy. But then I think about it, Father, Daddy, those are what synonyms, right? Synonym is right, yes, right. Okay, English 101.
I know, right? I did learn that in English, nothing else.
Yeah. But they mean the same thing. So I think when I think about my kids saying to me, Daddy, it's like they'll come to, Dad, I need $100, or I'm behind on this, or I need to come up, my sink is leaking, or whatever, I'm just willing to do it. There's nothing that I wouldn't do. And so when I wake up and I think of God being my father, my dad, that everything that he has is mine, it's my inheritance. And so that I think, so give me peace, give me tranquility, give me, wisdom and knowledge how to get along with my wife, get along with my friends, how to conduct myself in business, how to conduct myself in the world if I come across a police officer or something like that, or so I just think of myself as being a child of God, and that I have access to everything that he controls. I mean, it doesn't mean, when I talk about God, a lot of times I have to, to clarify it, I'm not, I don't know how to say this because I don't want to offend anybody, but I'm not a person of African descent that worship a white, blue-eyed, blonde-haired Jesus. You know what I mean? I do believe in Jesus, but I'm not westernized. Gotcha. I see God as, since he's my father, I see God looking like me, so I don't, so I think I like to make that distinction, because I think that, a lot of people, because I guess think that, Christianity was introduced to Africans, during enslavement, and that's not really true.
Right.
If you really study the continent and study, where, Jerusalem is, and, and Africa, and so I, in that context, so I just look at it that way, and so that's basically the way I live my life, and it's been good for me, yeah.
Love it. I love it. Well, where can everybody get your music, especially Southern Girl? Where can they get that?
Yeah, well, you can go to, I'm on all the platforms, but iTunes, Tidal, Spotify, you name it, we're there. And then you can reach me at lennywilliams.com. I check it out, 3-4 times a day. I answer, people if they email me about something or whatever. And I'm on Twitter and also on Instagram. And if they come up with something in an hour from now, my grandson will go, hey, Papa, you need to get on this, but they can go to any other musical platforms where they get their music, and Southern Girl and all that stuff is fine. Everything is there. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, I want to thank you so much for coming on Check the Rhymes today. It has been an absolute pleasure. You have had me cracking up, but you've also taught me a lot today.
Well, thank you so much. I appreciate that, and we'll make room for you in the songwriting class. Right? Yes. Right. Yeah.
All right.
Competition is good. Right. Yes. Right. Yes.
Well, you'll have to make sure you come back to the show soon.
You just let me know. Hey, I ain't busy. You know what I mean? Right. Unless my wife, got something for me to do, which I'm sure.
Yeah, you should have said that a little lower.
A little lower, right? That's right. But thank you so much. I appreciate you. All right.
All right. Thank you.